What are some of the most influential albums for Gen Z artists and Gen Z's music taste overall? I'm counting down my top 15, and today is number 14. If you're interested in more details, you can check the caption, but without further ado, let's get into it. Number 14 is Teenage Dream by Katy Perry. Released in 2010, Katy Perry approached Teenage Dream with a sort of more is more philosophy. The album leaned heavily into layered instrumentation, full production, bold sounds, and polished aesthetics, all which played a huge part in establishing maximalist pop, which we know today for being fun, anthemic, and triggering nostalgia while also remaining fully modern. This album set a new standard for sonically cohesive, hit-packed records with equally cohesive aesthetics, while also raising the bar for album rollouts. It had multiple different remixes and features, as well as 6 singles, 5 of which went on to go number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100, which tied her with Michael Jackson and his album Bad for being the only other artist in history to have 5 songs go number 1 from the same album. The album obviously debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200, and it remained on the chart for hundreds of weeks, which cemented its legendary status as well as a blueprint for modern blockbuster pop album rollouts. Not to mention, when we think of pop stars having eras for each album, Katy Perry's Teenage Dream played a role in repopularizing that. Obviously, she didn't create this concept. I mean, it dates back to artists like Madonna, David Bowie, and Michael Jackson, and she didn't fully repopularize it herself either, but I do think this album played a big part in it. So whether it's from the rollout itself, the maximalist sound, the larger-than-life aesthetic, the era, or the album's narrative power, both in visuals and in writing, the impact of this project can be felt today in Gen Z artists like Sabrina Carpenter, with her equally larger-than-life aesthetic, visuals that tell a story, and her short and sweet album rollout. Olivia Rodrigo is another good example of this. She also prioritizes visually narrative music videos and leans a bit into anthemic pop. And if we're having this conversation, I of course have to mention Chappell Roan. Chappell's campy visuals always tell a story over her maximalist pop songs, and not to mention her debut album's rollout. The Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess had 9 singles, and the album had a clear identity from the title to the visuals to the sound. As you can see, this album was very influential, but it still falls toward the bottom of my list because as much as Gen Z was influenced by it, some artists almost reacted against it. We see that with the rise of minimalist pop and whisper singing with artists like Billie Eilish and Gracie Abrams, but at the end of the day, any action that causes an opposite reaction was still influential enough to garner that reaction. So it made my list, and that was my number 14, which I know itself probably wasn't a surprise, but maybe where I placed it was a little controversial. But if you want something a little more surprising, maybe tune back in tomorrow for number 13.